This is the last time that I'm going to do this. I can't stress enough how much I don't miss social media. Other than a private Facebook, not on social media. Don't have Instagram, don't have a Cinematic Venom Facebook, don't have a Twitter account. Anyone who's on social media claiming to be me isn't me. But apparently, that isn't the problem here. I find it quite sad that certain people find it so shocking to believe that I have friends. In fact, in some of these tweets, they acknowledge that I have friends, but then, and their exact wording is, oh, you just so happen to share the same interests and live in the same local area. Yeah, why is that so difficult to believe? This is my friend Craig, who I have mentioned before and have provided screenshots to prove isn't me. But it seems like this is the only comeback that these people have. When they're backed into a corner, they just say, it's me, as if everything he's saying now is completely irrelevant. I'm only doing this video because I just really want to address you three people in particular: Alison Pregler, Linkara, and Marsgirl. Basically, what had happened was that someone claimed that a lot of the Google document was disowned by Change the Channel members, which isn't true. Someone then mentioned my name, and it spiraled off into this tangent of an entire Twitter thread by people who claim that they're over it before doing, as I said, a multiple Twitter thread about me. It's been 5 years since the Change the Channel movement began, guys, and it's been 4 years basically since it ended. What are we doing here? Just reading through this thread, you can see that there's been no personal growth from you guys whatsoever. You're still blocking people who don't disagree with you. You're still having emotional outbursts on social media. And all jokes aside, I'm genuinely concerned and do feel sorry for you. Furthermore, Alison, you've gone through this thing where you're still pointing out things that I have admitted I am wrong in. I made racist remarks. You're right, and I shouldn't have. I've apologized for that.
When I started, people didn't watch me, so I could say and do whatever I wanted. I was young and I didn't really give a shit. A lot of it was my own actions in the past. Racist things I've said, defending those racist things, trying to justify homophobic or transphobic things. My awful actions that I was constantly trying to defend rather than just make amends for.
I interfered with Change the Channel and I overstepped my mark and boundaries. You're right, and I've apologized for that.
After the Channel Awesome stuff died down, I fell into complete obscurity and irrelevancy. My 15 minutes of fame were over, and was it worth it? I attempted to defame this massive company.
For people who want an apology out of Channel Awesome so bad, I've given you it. I've said I was wrong in this scenario, and it's still not good enough. You're still harping on something from 4 years ago as if it's still relevant. The person I was 4 years ago doesn't exist anymore. And if you even bothered to have a look at my content, even though you didn't seem to think I was still around, you would see that. Not to mention the fact that in those 4 years, I've cut ties with people for possessing those same toxic traits that I had. Do you know how many people I've cut contact with for being transphobic this year?
I loved how you said, about how progressive it was. No, we couldn't do that now. I was like, yeah, so progressive. Yeah, back in 1992, back when you could say a guy was a guy. Sorry, yes, I know. I hate to say this, but if it has a dick, it's a guy. Oh no, he said it. Oh no. It's true though.
There's been people who have appeared in my videos who have mysteriously vanished, or will mysteriously vanish once I'm done with re-uploads, because of transphobia, because of sexual remarks that made me and other friends uncomfortable. These are things that I'm actively doing privately to better my life, to better myself as a human being. I had a business partner. My other channel is now a legal business. I had a business partner who was helping me make money, and I could have turned a blind eye to it, and I just couldn't, because he was extremely transphobic, and I didn't want to build a business with that man.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a shit few days, if I'm honest. I've just sat down to listen to your voice notes. This isn't an easy voice note to do, if I'm honest. I don't particularly feel comfortable talking to you anymore. Your viewpoints are something I just cannot endorse. You know that I've got family members who struggle with gender identity. I've had close friends that struggle with it. You've said severely, and I know you're probably going to cringe at the terminology, but transphobic things. I can't support that. And with a business that I'm trying to build and grow, I want this business to grow and invite people in who are, diverse and accepting of anyone from any different backgrounds. To me, this would be essentially on the same level as remaining friends or business partners with a racist or a homophobe, if I'm completely honest.
But you didn't look at that. You just thought of who I was 4 years ago, didn't bother to research, and just immediately assumed that it all still reigned true. I was a horrible person back then. I've owned that. I made transphobic remarks. I made racist remarks. I've spent the better part of 4 years trying to better myself as a human being. And here we are now in 2024. And it seems like you're still stuck in the same space. You made baseless claims about TV tropes, which, by the way, I've never edited in my life. And the website itself actually shows you who edits the page. And I'm not on there. It's weird that if you make an accusation against them, they want evidence, but then they're fine to make as many blind accusations as possible. Yes, I regret doing the Channel Awesome documentary. Yes, I regret all of the horrific sexual, racist, transphobic remarks. I've acknowledged that. I've moved on. I've made this whole channel, and just watching it, you can see my personality and whole demeanor's changed. You're still obsessed over this movement that you people couldn't even make relevant on your own. So Lewis, when you say, well, no one asked him to make this documentary, you're right. But it was completely irrelevant. With you guys couldn't make it relevant. I had to come along and do it. And then you can say all you want, well, nobody encouraged these videos, despite several of you encouraging the videos. Several of you admitting that you wanted more, asking for more. Some of you actually saying you don't know why Erod reacted the way that he did, and you have no idea why people had a problem with it. You have a huge history with rewriting history. And yes, I regret it. And yes, I overtook the boundary, took it too far, overstepped the mark. And yes, Alison, I have social issues that I cringe at and I'm trying to get help with. These are all things that I'm fully aware of. And yet you're in your mid to late 30s and you're still obsessing over this. You can call me a nobody all you like, but I've now got a channel that gets more views than you. You can call me a nobody, but my second channel that I don't particularly care about anymore in regards to view count.
Growth as far as the channel goes, not great. And you know what? It's fine. The numbers on Cinematic Venom do not bother me. I don't expect Cinematic Venom to blow up. I don't really need it to. And that's fine. I make Cinematic Venom because I love it. It doesn't matter if it gets 2 views or 200 views.
Gets more views than Mars Girl. If I'm a nobody, where does that leave you guys? You're all calling me a nobody, but who would you be without Doug Walker? Nobody would know who any of you are without Doug. And you can say nobody will know who I am without Change the Channel. Yeah, that might have been relevant 4 years ago, but I went and worked hard and built a channel that gets more views than some of you now. It was a hell of 2 years or so. And I took that to reflect on myself, went back, worked on myself as a human being. I've been through therapy. I'm surrounded by great people who are helping me become less ignorant to important causes, to important matters in the world that I didn't really know about. I've educated myself. And here we are 4 years later and you're still doing the same thing, trying desperately to remain relevant. I get replying to the first guy, but then to post an entire thread with lies and things that were only relevant 4 years ago, I just think you need to let this go. You need to let it go.